Welcome to the EOB podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I am Benno, and joining me is Sin Duong. So, hey, Sin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everyone.
We sort of have some technical difficulties this week. This is our third try.
Let's hope third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. Okay, as we were saying, we were both wrong on Pitch Perfect, even though I predicted it coming number one. It blew both of our expectations out of the water. You had it at around 25 million, and I had it between 45 to 50. But when the numbers came in, it actually made 70 million.
Yeah, it's on another level. You know, I'm 25, you're 50. It actually ended up making 70. So in just 3 days, it already.
Right. It made, yeah, like you say, before, I mean, I think you dropped out a bit right there. You said it made, in its 3 days, made more than the theatrical run of the first movie. Why? Why do you think it made, it's certainly surprising to you, right? You didn't think it would make that when you say it will only make about 25.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, I wasn't expecting such a huge jump. I mean, the first film, when it went wide, only opened to about like 16 or 17 million. So I was expecting, sure, you'll make more than the first film, but I wasn't expecting like 70 million.
I don't think anyone was expecting 70 million. I mean, they were saying, oh, it's going to make, people were projecting it to make, above 40, but 30 million more than what's it's kind of like, wow, there's something here,
Yeah, even that the industry was projecting was a lot more than I expected. I guess this was one of those films. I mean, I'm not the target audience. You're not the target audience. So we're both kind of like, we both don't really get it. But I guess it really built. Well, it's one of those films like the first Austin Powers. I think Austin Powers only ended up making like 50 million theatrically. And then it developed this huge following on, when it reached home video. And the second Austin Powers made something like, 60 or 70 million on its weekend. I think that's the closest thing similarity we can see.
And it's also a comedy as well, right? And during the last podcast, I say this will appeal to a lot of people, but we don't know how much. And I say they were advertising the movie on like the biggest sporting event, at least at the time, which is the NBA playoffs.
Yeah. Actually, you're still breaking up from time to time. Am I breaking up from time to time?
Yes. I'm not sure we can get through this, so I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder, just our connection or what? Maybe Google's having issues.
It could be just the internet having some congestion during this time.
Yeah, it could be. I will just move on then.
All right, we'll keep on trucking, okay? So, like I said, no one's listening to this anyway. Hi, the one of you out there who only listened to a couple seconds before moving on.
All right, let's see here.
Okay, and
wait, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. And Pitch Perfect 2, like they changed directors. Right now, the second movie is directed by Elizabeth Banks, who also starred in the movie and who also produced the first movie as well.
Are we on Mad Max Fury Road?
Can we make it through Mad Max Fury Road? I don't know. Okay, how about we make this quick?
All right, okay.
Okay, let's move on. Obviously, Pitch Perfect 2.
Monster, yeah.
Okay, I think I lost you there.
Yeah, same here. I lost you there too.
Okay. All right. How about you talk and I'll listen for now, and then you can toss me the ball back and we'll see how it goes.
All right, which made 44.4 million over the weekend. Considering it's a reboot and it's rated R, and it's getting amazing reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 98% tomato meter rating, which is kind of unheard of for action movies. The only thing with like I said last week, Mad Max Fury Road would have to gross in the 50 to 60 million range in order to make a profit domestically, because its budget is a massive 150 million. So, 44.4 million is pretty good, but at that budget, I was expecting more.
Right. I mean, the first thing that surprised me when I looked up the reviews is like, at that time it was at 99. I say, whoa, what's going on here? It's a rated R action movie. Those kind of ratings normally are reserved for like children's movie or documentaries, but for kind of like a violence and mayhem movie, it's pretty much unheard of. Probably unprecedented. Probably this is like the first movie that has such a high rating.
Well, I think the first Avengers was at like 6%, and
No,
and
yeah,
I think the
I'm talking about an R-rated violence and mayhem movie. The Avengers movie.
R-rated,
Yeah. Avengers movie is more like well, it's kind of like more
yeah,
a cartoonish action movie. This is
yeah,
where bloods and guts type of movies. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah, and the 150 budget, I think I heard that the budget might be closer to 200 million.
Reshoots and stuff.
Reshoots and delays and everything. I think they might have underreported the budget just to make it look good.
Right. It's one of those films that's also usually when you hear about reshoots and all that behind the scenes turmoil, it usually translates to John Carter type bombs. But in this case, it actually worked out really well. Like all the reshoots have actually improved the film, it seems. Based on the great reviews and word of mouth, maybe this film will have some legs in the following weeks and might eventually make back its budget domestically.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like World War Z, the Brad Pitt movie, zombie movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, it has a troubled production, and there were reshoots as well, but it ended up making lots of money. And they're like right now they're trying to make a sequel.
I think World War Z had a bigger opening too. I think it opened to like in the 60 million range. Or something like that, yeah. But nonetheless, Mad Max, at that budget, I'm kind of a little disappointed. But hey, great reviews and good word of mouth might help it be a little bit more and hopefully make back its budget.
Yeah, well, I mean, these type of movies play very well overseas, so there's that as well. And and like you say, it seems like the reshoots and pouring more money into it actually made it better, judging by the reviews. Yeah, but not everyone, but like a majority of people went to watch Perfect Date movie.
Date movie. I think the demographics were something like 70% women.
They could go with their girlfriends.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Kind of like Mad Max is a perfect date movie too, where guys bring other guys.
Yeah, the bro movie. But apparently not enough. They were home watching basketball.
Yeah, right. All right, should we move on to number 3, Avengers: Age of Adaline?
Okay, yeah, number 3, Avengers came in, and number 3, it has a 50% drop off from last weekend, but still pretty good, 38.8 million in its third weekend. And domestic, cumulative domestic so far is 372 million.
And what about internationally?
Internationally, I think it already crossed $1 billion. So let's see. Worldwide is 1.1 billion, but in just overseas market, it's 770 million.
Right. So it's already at the billion mark. Looks like it has a chance to catch up with the first film on a worldwide level, because domestically it's not going to make 600 or 620 million or what that the first film made, but worldwide it looks like it might match, or if not surpass, the 1.5 billion that the first film made.
Yeah, which is amazing because like the first movie, the first Avenger, Age of Ultron opened less than the first movie, right? At least domestically. But then worldwide, yeah, you as you say, it has the potential to surpass the movie because like the Avengers, the overseas gross is 895 million for overseas, but for Age of Ultron is at 770.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with China too, because in China it's already made like 150 million in just a week of release.
Yeah.
So Avengers: Age of Ultron, a little bit disappointing domestically, but internationally it could still make more than the first film.
All right, that's all we can say about it, and probably it will join. Right now, it will probably pass First 4, right?
You mean First 7?
Oh yeah, First 7. Okay, I'm seeing First 7 is at the 4th spot, so I'm switching the numbers. And yeah, it will probably the 1-2 punch of Avengers and its sequel will come in behind Avatar and Titanic.
Yeah, right.
Still amazing, you know. Considering Avatar was released in 2009, and Titanic was released in 1997.
Right. Let's move on to number 4, Hot Pursuit, which made 5.8 million this weekend. Experienced a pretty steep drop off, almost 60%. A lot of that has to do with Pitch Perfect 2, and a lot of that has to do with Hot Pursuit not being a very good movie to begin with. It's like 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. After 2 weeks of release, it's made 23.5 million. There's no other way to say this other than it disappointed. For a Reese Witherspoon comedy, it's disappointing.
It is because comedy was kind of Reese Witherspoon's bread and butter. With the Legally Blonde movies and others. And then she took off and did some dramas. And her return wasn't well received. Even though it's decent, but it wasn't like the Legally Blonde movies, up to that level.
Right.
And the comedy that she chose to return to, it's geared toward more the older crowd instead of the the younger group, which Pitch Perfect 2 is geared toward.
Yeah, right.
Kind of confounding, but I guess maybe she is at that point where she couldn't really play young anymore, so she's going for the older crowd.
Or it could just be a really bad movie. Just chose the wrong script. Like Melissa McCarthy, she's been in a couple pretty poorly reviewed comedies, but she's able to still, but those films was still able to draw a crowd. I guess Reese Witherspoon is just doesn't have that kind of draw anymore.
She's also producing her own movies, so she gets to pick the script. She gets to pick who gets to star in them, right? So there's a lot of things that are under her control.
Wait, Melissa McCarthy or
Reese Witherspoon.
Okay, yeah. So this is one of those things where sure she has control of her films. It's just that she picked the wrong film to return to her brother.
Right. Yeah, okay, let's move on to number 5. It's Paul Blart, Mall Cop 2. It's still hanging on. It made 3.6 million in its 5th week, and so far it made 62.9 million domestic.
At a budget of 30 million, the studio will make a profit. It's just that, and compared to the first film, which made nearly 150 million, it's kind of disappointing. And I don't think we'll see a Paul Blart 2, 3.
If there is one, it probably go to video,
Yeah.
And it's a decent place to be in. Like Jason Statham and others, Taylor Lautner, they're all straight to video now. So yeah, he'll be in fine company.
Although I'm not sure if he wants.
Well, nobody wants to be in straight to video, but it's a living.
Hey, except Don the Dragon Wilson.
Yeah, but I'm sure he wants to open a movie as well. But hey, if that's all you can do, why not?
There are worse ways to make a living.
Right. Okay.
Well, let's move on to number 6, Furious 7 at 3.6 million. Hanging on, kind of like Paul Blart. Total is at 344 million, and the international total is at 1.49 billion. So it only needs a couple more weeks to pass Avengers in the worldwide tally. Looks like it might be able to do it. Looks like it can be the 3rd highest grossing film of all time internationally, which is at a place where no one expected.
Right. So forget about me saying previously that the first Avenger movie and the second one being the 3rd and 4th spot. But
Why?
you know what? I don't believe that Furious 6 is in the 6th spot. I think it's actually in 5th because these are estimates. I think when the numbers come in, I think it will overtake Paul Blart, Mall Cop 2.
But at this time, nobody cares. It's such a small amount.
Yeah, it's already in its 7th week. It has a chance to overtake the Avengers, the first movie, to occupy a place on the all-time list. No one expects this movie to be on it, right? So that makes it pretty good. Amazing.
Yep, amazingly good.
Yes.
Now they're not only planning 8 and 9, they're planning 10, 11, and 12.
Do you think they can go on that long?
No, I don't think so. I mean, kind of like the Dark Knight, because of Heath Ledger's death, it kind of raised it up to another level. And when they made the Dark Knight Returns, it experienced a huge drop from the first film, and I think Furious 8 might experience that kind of drop.
Yeah, I think Fear 7 is the apex of the series.
Yeah.
Only go down from there.
Okay, so let's move on to number 7, The Age of Adaline at 3.0 million. And after 4 weeks of release, it's made 37 million, which is pretty good for Lionsgate.
Yeah, but we still don't know the budget, which I suspect to be in the 40 to 50 range.
Yeah, that's true. Let me take a look. Age of Adaline budget.
Adaline, yes, it stars Blake Lively as a woman after some accident remains I don't know, in her young, actually pretty much forever, and then she had to run away from her past so she couldn't make any connections.
The budget I'm seeing on Wikipedia and Variety. Wikipedia has it at 25 million. Variety has it at 30 million. So I guess it's not bad. It's, not sure if it's the type of film that can do well overseas. Domestically, if you can make back your budget, it can be a profitable film when it comes out on video.
Yeah, but when it's all said and done, the Age of Adaline is just a blip. It won't go down as one of the all-time classics. It's not Titanic.
Yeah,
it's okay. There's a movie.
I think for Lionsgate, it's a decent hit for them because this is kind of their specialty. They make movies for 20 to 30 million. It's kind of like in line with their type of movies.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But once you're a public company, you're pressured to make more. So you have to place bigger bets. So this, like I said, this is just a blip. This is just a line item. There's a movie that in 2015 that's called Age of Adaline. There won't be. It's not something they could exploit and make sequels, for example.
Right. Let's move on to number 8, Home. 2.7 million this weekend, holding up really steady. A drop off of only 12%. I guess because of the dearth of family films, it's been able to hold pretty steady in the last couple of weeks. After 8 weeks of release, it's already made 166 million. And the worldwide figure is at 343 million, which is pretty good.
Right. So another reprieve for DreamWorks Animation, who has, who needed one after a string of misses.
Yeah. Nope. Number 9, Ex Machina.
Okay. All right. After the last podcast, I did some research. Apparently, it is pronounced Ex Machina. So you're kind of right, Ex Machina. But Ex Machina sounds so much better.
Yeah, it does. They need to change their pronunciation.
Right. If they want the K sound, they should use a K.
And if you're the Chinese government, you would rather pronounce it Ex Machina.
Right. So you're saying that it'll play well in China?
If they push that in China, they might get a release.
They just replace the head of the machine with a Chinese actor.
There you go. Right. But 2.1 million is one of the better reviewed films. Kind of like Mad Max. Surprisingly reviewed. For indie film, it's already made nearly 20 million, which is pretty good.
But regardless how well reviewed it is, the market has spoken. So right now it's in over 1,000 theaters, and it didn't gain any traction. So it's not going to be a huge movie. It's going to be one of those small indies that are well reviewed, but not a lot of people will see it.
Yeah, it didn't really break out into the mainstream. But for an outfit like Age release indie films, and if you judge it in indie terms, usually make 5 to 10 million is considered a home run. And this one is able to get a wide release and make 20 million, which is pretty good, judging in those terms.
Right.
All right, number 10.
Far from the Maddening Crowd, released by Fox Searchlight Pictures. And it's one of those movies. It's already in its 3rd week, and it gained some additional theaters. And 1.3 million the past weekend, and 2.6 million so far. Let's see. Oh, it's directed by Thomas Vinterberg, stars Carey Mulligan, Matthias Sonniarts, Juno Temple.
Yeah, sorry, couldn't help you with the pronunciation there.
It's all right.
It's a well-reviewed film, 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm surprised it even popped up in the top 10. But then at the same time, it's 1.3 million, very high to begin with.
Thomas Vinterberg is the guy who directed The Celebration, among others. The Hunt.
Oh, The Hunt.
So yeah, so he's kind of like this indie director, who's kind of well regarded, but not one of these commercial directors. So yeah, 1.3 million is nothing. 2.6 million over 3 weeks, even though it expanded to over 200 theaters. So it's gonna be a blip again.
But what's not a is Woman in Gold at number 11.
Helen Mirren.
Yeah, Helen Mirren. It made $1 million over the weekend and 29 million after 7 weeks of release. And
yeah.
Should we talk about next week's before both of us break up?
Yeah, I think we are already breaking up. So let's go. Okay, so next week we have Poltergeist and Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland on Rotten Tomatoes is getting decent reviews so far. After 21 reviews, is at 76%. It's not as high as other films directed by Bird. For instance, the last Mission Impossible film and his Pixar production. I think most 90% range. As we saw in the top 10, there's very few films targeting the family audience. So this might be one of those films that can benefit from that. But then at the same time, I feel like this film has a very low profile. So I'm thinking 20 million.
Yeah, like you, this movie does seems like kind of a low profile because like, sure, it's directed by Brad Bird, right? Has George Clooney. But then again, like I'm not sure if there an excitement to this movie. You know, like for me, I'm not sure I want to. I'm not sure I want to watch it. But even if I want to watch it, it's probably because Brad Bird directed it. And 76% on the tomato meter right now is not that high.
It could drop by the time more critics get to it.
It seems like it has the special effects going for it, but I'm not sure if the story connects with the audience. But I think it could pull in 25 million.
Oh, 25 million?
Yeah, like you, I'm kind of low on this movie because like Pitch Perfect 2 is still going to be in theaters. Mad Max Fury Road is going to be in theaters. I mean, sure, it has the family audience, like you say, but I'm not sure if family want to watch that.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of low too. I'm thinking 20 million too.
You know, it doesn't seem like it's a fun movie. It's not. It's not
that's
like
not good.
Right. It's not like the kids will say, "Hey, look, I want to watch Tomorrowland. Please take me to that." Instead of like, "Hey, I want to watch like something like Home, for example."
Right.
So
yeah. We move on to Poltergeist.
Sure. Poltergeist, the horror movie remake starring Sam Rockwell, one of my favorite actors. It seems kind of low budget to me, and that's not a good thing.
Well, for horror films, low budget isn't exactly a bad thing, right?
It's kind of like polished but low budget. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have the horror movie, the low budget horror movie, it looks kind of messy, but then it delivers the scare. This one looks a bit polished.
So what are you thinking?
Kind of tough, like horror movies. Like I say, it's tough to gauge. I think this is more in the line with the Insidious movies that's coming out later on. It's more adult. It doesn't have a lot of like slasher, like people getting killed or anything.
Kind of the gorier. It's one of those gorier horror films.
Yeah, it's not a gore, slasher or not a gore movie. It's more like trying to scare you in this way. So
which isn't too bad because like the Insidious and The Conjuring and even the spin-off. What's that spin-off from The Conjuring about the
Annabelle or something like that?
Yeah, Annabelle. Those films have done really well. So maybe people are kind of sick of those gory horror films, and they want something a little bit more focused on pierce rather than blood and guts.
Yeah, true. But if you watch the trailer, it's not that scary. It's not. It's kind of like what was it? Kind of like who's the guy who directed Rush Hour?
Brett Ratner.
Yeah, Brett Ratner. It's kind of like that. He uses all those clear shots. Like it's very clean.
Very clean.
Yeah. This movie is kind of like that, and I'm not sure if that works for a horror movie.
Takes away some of that graininess of horror.
Yeah. So it looks kind of fake. That is what I'm saying. So I'm not sure if this movie will appeal to horror fans. So I think I'm gonna go. I don't know, maybe 10 to 15.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too. I don't feel a lot of excitement for this week's films. Although I'm for Tomorrowland mainly because Bradford directed it. But other than that, I don't feel like these are huge box office juggernauts. So yeah, I'm with you on Poltergeist too. I'm thinking more on the 10 or 15 million range, and yeah, Tomorrowland I'm slightly lower than you. I'm 20 million. You're 25 million.
I guess next week is still probably gonna be Pitch Perfect 2, coming in number 1.
Yeah.
I don't know, Fury Road coming in number 2, or maybe number 3, depending on how Tomorrowland does. We're breaking up, so we're breaking up, so that means okay, it's time to end this, right? You have Tomorrowland at 20, I have it at 25. Poltergeist, we're both not big on, but we still peg it in the 10 to 15 million range. Okay, all right, let's come back next week, and hopefully we have this audio issue resolved. Google will fix the infrastructure, use a little bit of their money from advertising, and fix the infrastructure, and maybe help us out.
All right, see you guys next week.